Hello guys, in this video we are gonna see how can we create this basic player movement via button. Now let's jump into it. First of all, I'm gonna make new Unity project. Let's name this movement via button and then open up Unity. Let's wait for Unity to load. Now let's have some basics in setup. Now let's make a ground. Scale this up a little bit. And then adjust the camera a little bit. Now let's make wall. Let's also give this material. Now let's make wall at 4 sides of the ground so that our player will not fall. And then let's make this as side of our ground. Let's create new sphere. This sphere is gonna be our player. Let's grab this material to make a little bit stand out from ground. And then change its position. And then add rigid body to it. Let's make new UI button and then adjust this. This is gonna be our forward button. Now in player, let's add a player movement script. Let's open this in Visual Studio and then wait it to load. Now let's add reference to our rigid body and then create new public float for forward force. And then let's create new bool called FW. And then let's create new function called down forward and set FW value to false. In this condition, we are gonna call this when button is on hold. And then another function called up forward. And then let's make FW value to false in this condition. And then create new function to add force called forward. Let's check if FW is true. And then add force in this rigid body. 0 on X, 0 on Y, and then forward into time dot delta time in Z axis. And then let's call this in fixed update. Now let's take a look what we are doing here. We are gonna call this down forward function when button is on hold, and then set FW value to true when button is holded. And then set FW value to false when button is released. And then add force when FW value is true. Let's open our editor and check. We also need to drag our rigid body to our player movement to set reference. And then this is important part, guys. We are not going to add on click event. We need to have another event trigger. We are not going on click event. Let's add a component. Let's search for event trigger. We are gonna add our event on this. Add a new event type. And then this is going to be our pointer down. Pointer down is called when button is on hold. from player, let's drag our player into this, and then from player movement we are gonna call down forward, and then add another event type. Let's add another event type called pointer up. This is gonna be called when button is released. But we are now, let's try hitting play. Okay, now when we are clicking holding forward, this is adding force. Now it is pretty much similar for our backward also. Let's create another bool for our backward called BW. Let's create another function called down backward, and then set BW value to true in this condition. And then another function called up backward, and then set BW value to false in this condition. And then let's create another function called backward, and then check if BW value is true. If BW value is true, then add force. In minus forward force, this is gonna take our forward force float in negative, and then let's call backward in fixed update. Let's create a new button for backward. Let's adjust this little bit. And then change event type. I'm gonna call down backward and pointer down. And then up backward in pointer up. Now let's try it out. If we click on backward, then it comes backward, and if we click on forward, then it goes forward. And then it is also pretty much similar for our backward sideways force. Let's create new float called sideways force. And then another bool named RG. Let's create another function called right. And then set RG value to true. And another function called upright. And then set RG value to false. And let's make another function right and check if RG value is true. And then add force in x-axis and multiply it with time.delta time. And then call this in fixed update. And let's change its name. And then change our text to right. Then change pointer down to down right. And in pointer up, it's gonna be our up right. Now let's try it. Okay, it's working properly. Now it is also same for our left also. another we'll call lf. Then let's create another function called down left, and then set lf value to true in this condition, and another function called up left, and then set lf value to false in this case. And then create another function called left, and then check if lf value is true, then add force in an x-axis and multiply this with time dot delta time, and 0 and 0 in y and z axis, and then call this in fixed update. Actually, let's make our all bool value to false in start. Now let's try this out. Now let's create another button. Then let's also change the text. And let's go to our button. In pointer down, let's go to down left, and in pointer up left. Now let's try this out. Now everything should be fine. Okay, this is fine. Everything is working properly. Actually, but this UI is very boring. Let's go to our Google Chrome, and then let's search for free button images. Let's go to icon8.com. For now, this will be fine. Let's download this. Download for free. I don't have money. Then let's drag this into our Unity editor. Let's go to our image and then change texture type to 2D sprite. Let's apply this. Let's go to our button. Select our button, and then delete our text from button, and then rotate this 90 degree in z-axis. Now let's go to our backward button. Also delete it text. In source image, let's choose our image that we downloaded from internet, and then let's rotate this -90 in z-axis. Let's go to our right button and delete the text, and also delete from left button. Now let's rotate this 180 on z-axis. And then in left button, also let's choose our image, and it is fine for left button. and then let's actually rename this as button. Now everything will be fine. Let's try this out. Okay guys, everything is now fine. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you find this video useful, then please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss our content, and then comment down if you are getting any trouble. Thank you guys.